can often get us down. Some ways simple, some profound, but
Hey, Broadway Christian Church. It's been a couple weeks since I've been on a Pilot's Voice episode. Thanks for jumping in last week and giving a bit of an update. And Simps and I wanted to jump on today and to talk with you all about our plans for reopening on July 5th and some of the details for that, both for those who will be in the sanctuary as well as for Kids Church and for youth. For those who haven't heard yet, Broadway, on July 5th, we are going to be opening back up to anyone who wants to come, and we're also going to be having Kids Church that Sunday as well. And so in some ways, we are going back to normal. And so Simps and I wanted to jump on today in order to share with you some of the expectations that we have for that Sunday and some of the things that you can be expecting when you come. What we wanted to do to start, before we kind of give you the details of our thoughts and explanations around that on that Sunday, is to share with you a little bit about some of the assumptions that we have about the virus and about physical distancing and the different things that we believe are true to the best of our understanding. We understand that in the last few months, one of the most frustrating things is all the different kind of information that we've received from all the different kinds of sources about how we manage this whole thing. And so we've had to determine what we as elders and staff think is best to the best of our ability. And so just wanted to outline a few of those assumptions that we have. You may not agree with these assumptions, and that's fine. We're not trying to convince you that these are the only ways to think about this, but these are our assumptions that we've had as we've made these decisions that will hopefully at least help you make sense of why we're asking some of the things that we're asking. So does that make sense, Simps? Did I explain that well?
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay.
It's a way, it's where we have come together in the middle
Yeah.
of whether people who agree or people who disagree, but where we've come together in the middle. So, yeah.
So the first just assumption that we have as we have made these decisions is that to acknowledge that the coronavirus is still a threat. We are not opening up on July 5th because we think that things have just gone away and now it's like safe for everybody. The original reasons that we were given by our authorities for the original stay-at-home orders was to flatten the curve and to make sure that it didn't spread too fast. And so we feel like we've been trying to play our part in that. And right now, as the rest of the state is opening up, we don't believe there's any reason for us as a church to be more strict than the governing authorities over us. And so so we are opening up to anyone who feels comfortable to come. Again, not because we think that the coronavirus is gone or has disappeared or that it's now somehow safer, but because the goals that our governing authorities have set for us to flatten the curve, that's been successful. And so we are opening up our large gatherings as well. With that in mind, we do recognize that large gatherings of groups of people, especially inside, can be a problem in the spread of the coronavirus. And so because of that, physical distancing is still important. It's going to be important for us to continue to do that for this season. And so with that, we're asking that when you come to the sanctuary, we're going to have every other pew marked off for you, and we would ask that you would sit with your family unit during that time. Another assumption that we have is that masks do help somewhat, and so we are encouraging you to wear a mask. If you're willing to do that, we think that would help, and so would encourage you to do that. We will have some at the door available for you when you come. And then also that our social time after the service is over, or before the service is over, our sanctuary and the way that our church is designed really doesn't help us in this scenario because we don't have a lot of large gathering spaces. We don't really have any place to even send people outside to go and to interact with one another. And so we're just going to need to be more conscientious about trying to spread out. So if you're in the sanctuary, spread out. If you're in a group of 2 or 3 people, spread out the best that you can. Go down the hallway that we've just built that's a bit more wide open down towards the elevator, or head up to the cafe area. The cafe won't be open for coffee, but you can head up there and interact and be able to spread out a little bit more. And of course, if you have any sort of symptoms, a fever or any of the other symptoms related to the virus, we would just encourage you to stay home. Since you've been doing some work together with your children's ministry leaders about plans for when the kids come on July 5th. So if you want to share a little bit about some of your plans, that would be great.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. So a few things that we have thought about when it comes to guidelines for July and August for Kids Church is as follows. First of all, we would ask that at least one person, at most one person from the family, whether one adult, whether you're sending your youth kid or you're sending your the mom or the dad or whosoever, or the grandma or the grandpa, to come and drop the kids, so that we don't have more than 2 people that are coming to drop the same kids in the kids area, to try and avoid the traffic. So we would ask that please use one person to drop and pick up the kids from their classes or to their classes. We'll try and make sure that the check-in areas are manned, meaning that somebody would be using the iPad for every family. So meaning that not everybody's going to be touching the iPads. So we'll try and mend that for July and August, to avoid any conduct that might lead to contamination and stuff like that. The other thing that we're going to request from parents is that we are going to actually limit class numbers per classroom to 10 kids per classroom. So I know there are some classes that are huge, like 4 to 5 year olds and 2nd and 3rd grade. Those are huge classes in numbers, and they've got small rooms. So what we're going to do is we're going to limit the number of kids to 10 that are taken per Sunday classroom. So meaning that if you come in later, or you come in after the maximum of 10 has been reached, the system will not allow you to check in, and you'll be welcome to take your kid inside to church with you. I think this is going to affect mostly 2 or 3 classes. But to avoid, to try and space out and do that social distancing well, we would need to do that too. Another thing is, when it comes to masks, we strongly recommend them for everyone over 3 years old. Kids 3 and under, or should I say kids 2 and under, which is meaning 2-year-olds going down, they shouldn't be wearing masks at all. That's what they say. The CDC says that it could affect their breathing, they could suffocate. So we are not expecting your kids in the 2-year-olds class, 1-year-olds class, and nursery to be wearing masks. We are not expecting that at all. And the teachers in those classes would use their discretion as well, because we know that kids could be afraid of an adult with a mask on. At that age, I mean, it's like, you're leaving me already with the stranger in the classroom. Now they're wearing a mask, they look scary. So we have asked teachers to take precautions, but to be very to use their discretion on that. But on kids 3-year-olds going up, we strongly recommending masks for both teachers and kids that are in class. That would help us to not be in a situation where everybody's sneezing around. I mean, these are kids, and everybody's touching everybody's sneeze and all those things and droplets. So we'll try and reduce that. And then as well, we've limited the number of toys that are open in the class to use. For some of you would remember that the last few weeks of Kids Church, when we were together, we had already covered some toys so that they don't get used. We use a few that we can disinfect afterwards, and it's going to be the same thing for July and August. And then another thing would be, when it comes to large groups, we're not going to have large groups. Kids are going to stay in their classrooms, for the whole time. So they won't go to large group. They will stay in their classroom with their teachers the whole time of the service. And as well, having said that, that might mean that maybe our services in the main church might be a little bit shorter to accommodate them sitting in one place the whole time. But whatever, whether they are longer or shorter, but they'll stay in one place. Uh, I think it would be better for them to be in one space than have them go to the large space together and then come back. Yeah, so we're gonna try and avoid that for July and August. Another thing that I would like to highlight is that the second and third grade class, they usually meet in the old chapel. Um, the door is close to the common area. They are going to move their room to the parlor where the fourth and fifth graders were before they moved downstairs. And the reason why we're doing that is for spacing purposes. That room is very small and it's a big class. And I mean, for 10 kids and 2 teachers, it's a bit small for them to do any social distancing at all. So moving them to that venue would help us with that. So parents, please note that you need to drop your kids in the parlor and pick them up from the parlor. And then the last thing when it comes to kids' church opening is that I'm going to request that all parents, kindergarten going down, I would actually say, go on to say all parents in all classes from fifth grade going down. I would ask you, would you please make sure that when your child comes to church for these next 8 weeks, that they bring their own water bottle that is clearly marked for them, so that we don't have sharing of water bottles and cups that are open all the time while others are sneezing around it. A water bottle that they can close, that can be just for them, clearly mark their name on it and their grade or class on it. That would be awesome. It would help us a lot with that. And we have to help as well with snack time. I have for younger classes, which is fifth grade going up, that do snack time. I have, I know, don't laugh at me, Ryan. I have bought a little bit some of the goldfish in individual packets, so that each kid gets a packet and they can open it themselves, or the teacher can help them open, but they can eat from their packet than from pouring it into cups from the big container. So we'll try and maintain that as much as we can in the next 2 months. Youth-wise, youth will continue to meet in the sanctuary for July. Our last youth group will be July 29th. There will be no youth on the 5th because of the 4th of July. There will be no youth on the 19th too. But the rest of the Sundays in July we'll have youth group in the main sanctuary. And in July we are going to be recommending that youth use masks, but we are not going to be requiring like that we have been in June. So we're not going to be requiring it, but we'll be recommending them strongly for people to use if they can. And since we are in the main auditorium, main sanctuary, it's easier for us to spread apart and not be held in together.
Yeah, so as we finish today, just one last thing wanted to just remind you of. If even though we are all opening up on July 5th, if you are feeling like you are still vulnerable right now, or if this is it's an uncomfortable thought for you to come and to be with a large group of people, I just want to remind you that that it's okay to stay home, and that you don't get extra points with God for showing up on a Sunday morning. And we miss you, and I know that it's your heart's desire to be with us.
Yeah.
But don't feel like you have to take an extra risk just because everyone is opening up right now. It's okay. And if you really just feel more comfortable staying home, that's okay. You're still a part of us. And hopefully you're able to be making connections over the phone with people or with your small group. And we really understand if you just still don't feel comfortable coming. So I just wanted to mention that, there are so many of us who Sunday mornings getting together at church, coming to church is such a part of our life. And this has been a strange season for a lot of us for that not to happen. But if you're just still feeling vulnerable and that this is not an okay time for you to do that right now, that's okay. And we love you, and you're still a part of us. And I just wanted to mention that. So
Yeah, I just want to say, as I think as well, it's good to mention that the the Facebook Live and all those other things will still be going
that's
on
right.
for you
That's
if
right.
you're home.
Yep.
So it's not like we just leaving you out in the cold. We still want you to be part of what we do and enjoy the service with us.
Yep.
And so Facebook Live and the Boxcast live stream will still be
That's right.
available for you.
Yep. That's right. That's right. Thanks, Simps. All right, Broadway, we love you, and we look forward to seeing more and more of you as we are able. Peace to you today.